Do you know that Jesus gave us 5 specific warnings about someone like Paul who would come after him? These warnings are so specific that once you see them, you can't unsee them. Warning number 1. In Matthew 7:15, Jesus warned, "Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves." Well, the Greek text actually specifies that these ravenous wolves would come from the tribe of Benjamin.
The Greek text specifies that, does it? The original text says Jesus told them to beware of ravenous wolves who come to you from the tribe of Benjamin. Never heard that before.
Paul, ironically, identifies himself as being from the tribe of Benjamin in Romans 11:1, the ravenous wolves.
Well, let's not get into the guilt by association fallacy. Paul wasn't the only person in the Bible from the tribe of Benjamin. Mordecai was also from the tribe of Benjamin. So was Esther, the prophet Jeremiah, Ehud, Jonathan, son of Saul. The tribe of Benjamin were known to be fierce in battle and carried as their symbol the wolf. In Genesis 49:27, where the Bible says they are ravenous wolves, it's actually Jacob on his deathbed giving blessings to his son, and Jacob meant it as a compliment. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf, in the morning devouring the prey, and at evening dividing the spoil. It means they were like go-getters. Paul mentions ravenous wolves too in Acts 20:29. I know that after my departure, ravenous wolves will come in among you, not sparing the flock. Do you think Paul meant that after his departure, someone else from the tribe of Benjamin would come and deceive them? I don't think so.
Warning number 2, in Matthew 5:19, Jesus said, "Whoever breaks the commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven." Well, Paul's name in Latin literally means the least.
Well, it can mean the least. It can also mean the humble or the modest. Whoever therefore breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches men so shall be called least in the kingdom. But whoever does and teaches them, he shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So this guy misquoted the passage. It wasn't whoever breaks the commandments and teaches others to do so will be called least. It is whoever breaks the least of these commandments and teaches others to do so. Jesus is saying that all the commandments are equally important, obviously. And he also wasn't saying that whoever does this shall be called humble in the kingdom of heaven, obviously.
And in Acts 21:21, Paul is directly accused by James of teaching apostasy, teaching the Jews to forsake the law of Moses.
Well, now, that's not true, what he just said. Paul was not directly accused by James of teaching apostasy. And when he had come to Jerusalem, the brethren received us gladly. On the following day, Paul went in with us to James, and all the elders were present. And when he had greeted them, he told in detail those things which God had done among the Gentiles through his ministry. And when they heard it, they glorified the Lord. And they said to him, "You see, brother, how many myriads of Jews there are who have believed, and they are all zealous for the law? But they have been informed about you that you teach all the Jews who are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, nor walk according to the customs." So, see, this was James talking about what other people were saying about Paul, not what James was saying. So that's pretty dishonest. I don't think the guy read the full passage there in Acts. I think he just Googled it.
Warning number 3. In Matthew 24:26, Jesus said, if they say to you, "Look, he's in the wilderness," do not believe them. Now, where does Paul claim that his first encounter with Jesus happened? In the wilderness, on the road to Damascus.
Oh, you got us there. Remember when Paul said, "Hey, y'all come out to the wilderness with me and see Jesus," because that's what Jesus was talking about. Be careful of those who say, "Come with me, and I will take you to see Jesus." And Paul never said that.
Warning number 4. In the same verse, Jesus warns, "Or if they say to you, 'Look, he's in the inner rooms,' do not believe them." Paul claims that he saw Jesus when he fell into a trance in the inner room of a temple. So Jesus warned us not to believe people who claim to see him in private visions.
Do you know who else had a vision of Jesus in a room? Peter. And we know about Paul's vision from Luke and the book of Acts, so that makes Luke a false prophet, so we have to throw out the book of Acts and also the Gospel of Luke. Also, Peter affirmed Paul as a true prophet in 2 Peter 3, so we have to throw out Peter as a false prophet. Also, Jesus affirmed Peter as a true prophet, so we have to throw Jesus out too. Also, Paul didn't say, I saw a vision of Jesus in the inner room. Quick, go in the inner room. He's in there, because that's what Jesus was talking about in Matthew 24. In Matthew 24, Jesus was talking about running for your life. Don't be stopping to look for me. Just get out, and get out as quick as you can.
And warning number 5, in Revelation 2, verse 2, Jesus congratulates the church at Ephesus, who have tested a false apostle and have found him to be a liar. Now, who claimed to be an apostle and was rejected by the church at Ephesus? Well, Paul admits in 2 Timothy 1:15, all those in Asia have turned away from me. Asia includes the church at Ephesus.
A click, click, boom. Let's read the text. This you know, that all those in Asia have turned away from me, among whom are Phygelus and Hermogenes. So he wrote that to Timothy, who was the pastor of the church at Ephesus. If Ephesus rejected Paul, what's their pastor doing reading letters from him? And speaking of liars, this guy's lying to you about the text in Revelation 2. Remember, he said Jesus congratulated them for throwing out a false prophet, but in reality it says this, and you have tested those who say they are apostles and are not, and have found them liars. Apostles, plural. But if you say it was just one apostle, it makes your argument that the one apostle was Paul, because Paul wrote to the pastor of the church that supposedly kicked him out and said he was sad because the continent of Asia rejected him. Well, obviously the whole continent of Asia didn't reject him. Paul was using hyperbole because he was sad that some of his closest friends had deserted him. So it's false teachers, not a false teacher. As it turned out, there were a lot of false teachers, just like Jesus said, and they all weren't from the tribe of Benjamin, so that can't be what Jesus meant.